Hello, this is Brian Hegney, instructor of game and interactive media design. So for this fourth wine glass, we are going to start off with a cylinder. Again, I'm going to go ahead and use my 3D snaps. I'm going to click on midpoint, not vertex. And I'm going to that's frozen, so I'm going to have to unfreeze that one. Okay, good. And I can drag here, let go. Oh, did you not work? Okay, let me do it now. Drag here, let go, lift up. Oh no, I have my snaps are turned on. Oh, that's why. Let me just. Ew, yuck. Oh, that's yucky. Okay, well, I'll just snap it up to here. And now I'll turn off snaps. Okay. I'm going to go to my Modify tab now, because I'm just going to change the height now to what it should be. Yay. There we go. Okay. Now here's where it gets a little bit iffy. Number one, 24 sides is fine. I want this to be a fairly nice looking wine glass. And so far, I think that number of sides from this far away looks pretty good. No one's going to be really zoomed up into this wine glass, so I can get away with 24 sides, I believe. The other thing I really need to worry about is the height segments. And for the height segments, I'm thinking, okay, how many segments do I need to make a really beautiful wine glass? Okay, I'm just going to keep it the way it is. 10 height segments is fine. From here, I'm going to choose Edit Poly. And what I'm going to do is basically select and scale every single group of edge loops. And I'm going to just make sure when I tap R for scale that I select this inner triangle, not this outer one, this inner one. And I'm going to go between, I'm going to make sure I am on the world coordinate system for both of them. Okay. And I only want to move it in the Z direction. I don't want to move the edge loops in any other direction, because if I move them to the left or the right, it's decentering them, and wine glasses should be centered. Okay, so tap R, twirl this in, and right now I'm just going to be like finding where the majority of things should go. Okay, there we go. Move this down here. Move this down here. I'll probably move this right about there. Zoom in. So I'm kind of like zooming in, zooming out, scaling. Okay, doing that. I will scale this. Move that in. And I don't know, for me this is very zen-like. Like I get to just focus on scaling and moving and scaling and moving. And I'm only moving down or up. I don't know, for me that's kind of nice. When we get into character modeling, we will be scaling and moving in all sorts of different axes. And so this is a nice break from that. Okay. Scale, move this down. Zoom in. Scale this. Like so. Move this like so. And scale this out. There we go. Something like that. And of course this one is terrible. So I must... something like that. But you know what? Actually gonna need to add another one right about there. And this is what's great about Swift Loop is I can just set this here, left click it, right click, and scale this in now. Here we go. So a good piece of advice I got from a 3D modeler in games is, let's just right click and say isolate selection. If it looks good from the polygon or from the side with just default shading, then it's probably going to be good. So, but right here I can see we have a little bit of some issues here. I might need to add some more polygons, one more edge loop right here. So in fact, what I might do is select this object, add a second edit poly, and I'm going to add a swift loop here. I'm going to hold down shift, and when I hold down shift with adding the swift loop, it's actually going to center it, but it will between the two loops, but it's also going to curve it a little bit. So if I left click there, it kind of rounds that out, and I'll do the same thing here, and I might do the same thing there. All right. Now I'm going to look at this again with just default shading, and it's starting to look okay. I think this little piece right here is not looking okay. Even if I'm this far out, there's still a little bit of a facet here. So what I'm going to do is select this again, add my swift loop, hold down shift, do it in the center there, and I think right here should have another one. Okay. Unclick that, and that's starting to look a lot nicer. I don't think I can tell that that has facets. It's starting to look pretty good. Right click and end isolation. From there, I'm not going to bore you doing this again. I need to actually do the same thing that I did here with all of these. And that is to extrude this downward. So I'm going to do that really quickly. Excuse me. So there we go. I finished it all, and it's nice. I did the whole cap holes thing, and oh, it looks so pretty in there. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. No endgons, just a few tries here and there. Okay, I wanted to point one thing out, and it is when I made these first glasses, I actually did something that I don't really like. Well, this one is fine, but the other two, or the other three, when I indented here, what if I want to make this lip a little thicker, right? What I could do is like select this edge selection mode on this and double click this edge, and I can select that, and I could scale this inward to make that thicker. But what that does, it only scales that ring and not the rest of the inside of the glass, and that would look really weird if this were actually made of glass. So that's kind of annoying. Now what I didn't do, if I'm going to turn off all of these modifiers. Okay, the first one, this top one was smoothing everything. Capping holes was capping holes. Edit poly is deleting those. And then this edit poly here that I just turned off did everything from insetting to extruding downward. And that's where I made a little mistake, because I kind of screwed up my chances of changing how thick the overall glass is. All right, now why would I say that? Well, look what happens, what I remembered to do for this last one. Okay, select that. I'm going to select, oops, come on. Select this, yeah. Now for this glass, the top edit poly was for smoothing groups. This cap holes capped the holes. This edit poly went downward, and this edit poly insetted it. Okay? Now, that's an important thing to note. I used an entire edit poly modifier just for insetting. And the reason I did that, I'm going to select that edit poly right now. Yes, I'm going to bypass you. I know what I'm doing. I want to select just this inner rim because, actually, you know what? I can select this face. Because if this face is any different like that, and then I go to this edit poly, that actually extrudes downward, just like it did before, except it extrudes downward from the thicker inset. and then I can cap holes, and then edit poly, and it does all of that nice stuff. Okay, but let's actually see how that works. I'm going to come back to this edit poly by turning all of these off. Okay, I'm going to select this polygon. I'm going to put it back to where it was, roughly about there. And now I'm going to turn on all of the other stuff. And notice if I turn on end result, turn off end result, turn on, okay, what you'll see is I'm actually on this polygon layer, this edit poly layer. I have this polygon selected. I could scale it right now. And if I show end result, it will show the result of me scaling this polygon. So I could make it super thin. Now, if I did this, went backwards, that's just destroying the geometry. Don't do that. I have to actually work within the geometry itself. But you can see how I have complete control over the width of that lip. Let me do that again. There. Okay. I can make it really thin or really thick. That's all. And I'm able to do that because of the way I modeled using edit polys on the stack going upward. That is the end of my modeling session. I'm going to have a little follow-up, and so feel free to watch that. And I'm just going to talk about our modeling steps. Okay, bye!